take credit for that as well.
All right, well, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. And I do want to ask both of you about some video. If you haven't seen this video yet of Elon Musk getting chummy with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago for Thanksgiving, they were apparently dancing in their chairs to YMCA. And, you know, there's Barron Trump next to the president-elect, but there's Elon Musk right next to him in his sweater, I think, and a blazer. But, you know, Tara, I mean, this does raise a lot of questions about what Elon Musk's role will be in this incoming administration. I mean, just this week, he has been targeting federal employees on X. He has been going after people like Colonel Alexander Vindman, accusing him of treason the other day on X. And he's been given this very big platform with the government. According to Donald Trump, he's going to be finding areas to cut in the federal government. What do you make of this relationship right now?
It's all really creepy, but money talks, and it's clear that Elon Musk has a motive here. He sees by cozying up to Donald Trump, he's going to have influence in ways that he's never had before. Not just being he's had a lot of influence being the richest man in the world. But this is a whole different thing. He's literally taking on the role of, a favorite son, first lady, and shadow president. This is scary stuff for people. And Elon Musk has no business having a security clearance, all of these government contracts, and now this level of influence with the president of the United States. It's all dysfunctional. These guys are going through this like group trauma therapy session with each other. And the fact that Elon Musk is the guest that won't leave and that Donald Trump continues to give him this role, it speaks volumes. Why wasn't Elon Musk with his own family? Where is that? This is his new family now. This is his new project, because he's so emotionally stunted that this is making him feel relevant. And the fact that as a country and in the world, geopolitics are going to be influenced by this guy going through whatever psychosis, processing he's going through, should scare the hell out of everybody. Because this is not just in the U.S., but they're influencing and trying to target people also in other countries. This is not just here in the U.S. with this intimidation factor. So the tentacles of this are really, really long. We should keep paying attention to it. I'm glad that we are now.
Yeah, I mean, Julie, nobody elected Elon Musk. Yes, he was out on the campaign trail campaigning with Donald Trump, but it does raise this question. And just as we saw X as sort of this propaganda arm of the Trump campaign as he was running for president, during the months leading up to the November election, I suppose there is the possibility, and we're seeing signs of that this week, that he's going to be sort of this cyber bully in chief as Donald Trump comes into office, using his platform to go after critics, go after federal employees, trying to intimidate people. It raises a lot of questions as to what that role is.
Well, here's a question that, I think journalists should ask of Elon Musk. Why is he talking to Vladimir Putin, and then, which he's conceded that he does, and then going after Vindman? Of all people that he could have gone after, right? Vindman's brother just got elected, but Vindman himself is not really in the news much these days. Why is he suddenly going after Vindman? And the question is, I would hope, to Elon Musk, is that something that Vladimir Putin told you to do? Is there something going on with our foreign policy? Are you some sort of proxy between Putin and whoever you're trying to influence in our own administration? That relationship needs to be explored. Because as Tara mentioned, he does have security clearances. He does have Starlink. And he does have access to somebody who I think is the most geopolitically dangerous man in the world, Vladimir Putin. And now he's going after Putin's own enemies. And I want to know why.
Yeah, and we don't know. And we don't know if he'll be speaking at confirmation hearings. Yeah, go ahead, Tara. Yeah.
Just really quick on that, to Julie's point about what's going on with Putin and Elon Musk. I have friends in the cybersecurity space that said that if you look at what's going on online, that a lot of the bots and extremist rhetoric that you saw and misinformation on X has now shifted away from the U.S. political election to trying to take out Ukraine. This is not by accident. So for people in this space, they are sounding the alarms, and it's really the responsibility of journalists like you and others to zero in on what's going on there, because this is not a coincidence.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of digging. I mean, there a lot of questions, no question about it. And I do want to ask both of you, Julie, Elon Musk is not the only tech executive visiting Mar-a-Lago these days. Apparently, Mark Zuckerberg had dinner there on Wednesday. What do you think that means? It sounds as though a lot of these tech CEOs, Silicon Valley titans, feel like they need to go down to Mar-a-Lago.
They're all bending the knee the same way that Jeff Bezos bent the knee even before the election with what he did at the Washington Post. This is what you see when authoritarians come in. This is exactly, speaking of Russia, what you saw in the 1990s and the early 2000s with oligarchs bending the knee to Vladimir Putin, thinking they could control him. Well, I've got news for them. They're not going to be able to in any way, shape, or form, the same way that the oligarchs in Moscow were not able to control Vladimir Putin. So if they want to continue to make money off of a guy that they think is a dope that they're going to be able to play, they probably will. They'll continue to be very rich. But by no means should we believe that they're in any way, shape, or form going to be the ones dictating to him. And that starts with Elon Musk and ends with Mark Zuckerberg. He will dictate to them. That's how autocracy begins.
And Tara, I mean, it does raise a lot of questions, and I'm short on time here, got to go. But you know, these tech CEOs, they wield tremendous influence in our society, and if they somehow feel as though, you know, I mean, are they going to show some independence from this new administration? I mean, that is certainly one of the questions that needs to be asked here. I mean, Elon Musk is certainly not doing that. He's all in on Donald Trump. But the question, I think, has to be asked of some of these other tech CEOs because of the influence that they have in our society.
Of course they're not going to show independence. If they did, Jeff Bezos wouldn't have pressured the Washington Post not to endorse. Like, we're seeing this. They are obeying in advance, which is rule number one against tyranny here. Do not obey in advance. They are, because they have their own interests here. And their interests have to do with money and their power and their influence. They control a lot of the information flow as to how Americans consume information, from TikTok down to, to Twitter, to the ecosystem that's there on the right. That is all of these things influence how American voters perceive things and how they behave. So of course the tech bros, the crypto bros, they all have their hands in this for their own goods. And unfortunately, a lot of Americans voted against their own interests by empowering them. And those people don't give a damn about average Americans every day. They don't. And we're about to find out what that looks like now with Donald Trump as their biggest puppet master, doing whatever they want because they know how to manipulate him, not only domestically, but foreign affairs too.
Can I just add one thing to what Tara said, if you have 30 seconds? Back in 2016, Les Moonves, the now disgraced former head of CBS, said something that I think applies today. He said, this may not be good for America, speaking about Donald Trump, but it's damn good for CBS. They love this. They love the acrimony. That's what their algorithms survive on. They love the conflict, and nobody's going to give it to them more than Donald Trump. So it's great for business. It's awful for America, as they know and concede.
Well, they have a lot of influence. They have a lot of responsibility here. We're going to keep our eyes on this for sure. Julie and Tara, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. Happy holidays.
You too.
Thank you, Jim.
All right. In the meantime, two major